The dim gender table is optional actually, because as you see, we need the gender ID in the end in our fact population table. And you could argue that if the dim gender table only holds the gender, so male or female in this case, well, then we can actually also add this field, this column to the fact population table, and we could skip the generation of the dim gender table. Generally, that's totally a way we could go. However, here in this course, I want to make sure that we practice as many Power BI desktop features as possible, and also this whole modeling part. Therefore, your task now is to create exactly that dim gender table. So use the combined table that we have as base. So this table here. Create a reference or a duplicate. Both is valid. I have a preference here that I will use, but it's up on you to decide that. Then remove all unrequired columns and make sure to have, in the end, 2 rows and 2 columns only. One column with the gender ID and one column with the actual gender. Good luck with that. You can now pause the video and will then create this table together afterwards. So how did it go? Were you successful? Let's create the dim gender table, and the first thing we do is we'll again create a copy of our population 2010 to 2040 table. For this, I'll create a reference now because we don't have to jump back to earlier steps, therefore I don't need to have this option here. And whilst this is loading, I'll again rename the table to dim gender here. Now, as we only need the gender column in the end, after this loading here is finished, here we are, I'll select the gender column, right-click it, and now remove the other columns again. As you see, I'm now accessing this menu from here. We have different options to access our features. I talked about this. So we remove all other columns besides the currently selected one. Now we'll again remove all our duplicates. Again, we only need unique values in our column. So here I'll now go to the home ribbon, remove rows and remove duplicates right here. And now I'll also create an index column once again. So we will go to add column, create the index column, and now I'll simply use the default feature. So starting from 1, with this, we have our dim gender table created already. We can now move the index column to the first position and also rename it to gender ID. So with this, all our dim tables are created. And by the way, don't forget to save your project from time to time by clicking onto this save option up here. We will apply the changes later again. You know how this works.